Welcome back to Get Real. I'm your host, Erin Thomason, joined today by Sara Bear and Sara Fish with Keller Williams out of Greater Worcester. Thank you both Saras for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So Sara Bear has an H and Sara Fish does not, except on the end of her last name. So those are the two biggest differences I see right now, but we're going to share probably a lot more right now. So Sara, you have been in real estate for 8 years.
Yes.
You live in Holden. Mm-hmm. You serve the Greater Worcester area.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your life as a real estate agent.
Well, real estate is working with buyers and sellers. I do both. And besides real estate or just in general?
Whatever you'd like to share.
You have 2 dogs. You like long walks on the beach.
Yes. I have 2 dogs, 2 children, and
one husband.
And one husband.
Yeah,
yes, only one husband.
That's all you can take anyway.
For now.
Honestly, what will we do with one more?
Yes, and this April will mark my 8th year in real estate.
All right. Happy anniversary in April.
Yes.
Thank you. I know.
So talk to me about what brought you to real estate.
It was always something I've been passionate about. I've always wanted to get into it. When I had my first child, I had a little bit of downtime as a stay-at-home mom, so decided to take my real estate test to see how that went. Began part-time with Keller Williams and grew the business into definitely full-time at this point.
Yeah.
And luckily both of my children are in school full-time now, so I can focus during the days on real estate 100%.
Nice. So you mentioned that you are kind of a one-woman show.
Yes.
And you do quite well. So you were talking a little bit about how you manage to do that. Would you like to share that?
Yes. I just have to stay very focused. A lot of people go into the office to focus and make sure that they are staying on task. I am opposite. I need to stay away from the office. I cannot get chatty with people. If I go in, I will be just spending hours talking and not actually doing work. So most of my work happens from my home office or the car. A lot of times in the car.
Your second
I feel
home.
like, that's very common.
Long drives, doing a lot of driving around, you have plenty of time to make those phone calls. So it actually is a good use of time.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So you started part-time, very part-time, and then you've kind of ramped up over the years. And now your business comes primarily from referrals and repeat business?
Yep. So a lot of referrals, a lot of word of mouth type of things. I try my very best to make every single transaction good for the client. So with that in mind, they often refer me or think of me hopefully when it's time to sell again or buy again. So I've had plenty of repeat customers that have sold and bought with me multiple times.
So what, so far, how many family members, what's the highest number of family members that you've helped in one family?
Well, in one family, I just signed a listing this week for the parents, and I've helped both of their sons purchase homes at this point. So I'll be helping them sell their home and purchase a new home.
3 family members.
3 family in one family so far. And I've helped multiple families buy and sell several times as well.
All right.
One family, although they did say the last one was definitely the last one, only because moving is a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But help them sell a condo and buy a house, and then sell that house and buy their now forever home.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
They're happy they're raising their 2 children. So they were a 3-peat.
Gotcha. A lot of repeat business.
Yeah.
So what about your referral network, your resources?
Yes. So in terms of that, I mean, obviously clients and past clients either coming to me again or referring me to their friends or family members, but also I have a nice network of mortgage partners, attorneys, other friends in the business that know and trust the work that I do and are happy to refer me as needed, which I'm always thankful for, which is wonderful.
And you have your own referral partners too that you're giving out contact information on, such as home inspectors
for sure.
Electricians, plumbers.
Yeah, you always want to give a nice list. You don't want to ever say just call this one person because you don't want to, have it be that way. But I have a nice list of people that clients of mine have used throughout the years, given high reviews to, and I always put them on what I call my good list.
There you go.
The good list.
They're never in any particular order. I always make sure to say that. Or sometimes I put them in alphabetical order.
That's why my last name is Bear, so I can be on the top.
Right. Yeah, she arranged that.
Yes.
Pre-birth.
Since birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter, this one.
To make sure that I'm switching it around, that, that people stay on the list.
You want to be fair.
Yes.
and neutral.
Exactly. But no, I'm happy to help guide, buyers and sellers throughout the process, whether they need an attorney, a mortgage lender, home inspector, electrician, as you said, anything like that.
And these referral partners, so they're working around the clock, right?
Yes.
And just like you.
Yes.
So the expectation that your client has, or your buyer or seller, that you're presenting, you want your referral partners to be the same way, correct?
Yes, because a lot of times business doesn't happen just between 9 and 5, especially in real estate. Most of the time when you're buying a house, you work during the day, 9 to 5. Don't have time necessarily to make those phone calls or do those showings. So evenings and weekends are very important, especially lenders, attorneys, things like that when questions pop up.
Right, exactly. Speaking of lenders and all that stuff in this market, now with it being so crazy, talk about multiple offers and how people can best position themselves if that's what they're up against, when right now that's very common.
Most of the time it seems that multiple offers are coming with each and every home.
Yeah.
All the homes that I've listed so far in 2020 have all had multiple offers.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful for sellers and very difficult for buyers. So buyers really do have to make sure they're using an agent that is well versed in multiple offers and knows what to do in those situations, because there's a few things that you can do to make sure your offer is standing out from other offers. You don't want to be put in the back of the pile. And it's not necessarily that you're coming up with the most money, the best offer price every time. It could be some other circumstances. So it's always good to have an agent that knows what questions to ask from the seller side to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward every time.
So can you talk about a couple of the things that might keep an offer on the top of the pile?
Sure. I always, when submitting an offer, make sure that I talk to the seller's side so that the seller's agent knows I'm submitting the offer.
Right.
And ask them a few questions, because every once in a while, it's not just, as I said, purchase price that's important to the seller.
Right.
It could be that they need a moving date that's flexible for closing, or they are doing a new construction. They know it won't be done for another 3 months. Could this buyer close in 3 months? So having flexibility on those sometimes is more important. And other times when there are multiple offers, I've seen big numbers come in, but then sometimes those buyers will pick up a bunch of stuff from home inspection, try to make the price go down. It happens. It's unfortunate. And it's really unfortunate for sellers sometimes, because that can make the house go back on the market. And sometimes that's a
The
black
perception,
mark for it.
yeah.
Exactly. So every once in a while you can write in with an offer an inspection contingency clause where you're saying, I will only bring up something that is really, major structural health or, expense to the home, instead of just, being
Carte
flat
blanche.
out.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, that helps my sellers feel a lot more comfortable accepting an offer, knowing that, of course, if something major, they're going to take care of it anyways.
Right.
But that someone's not going to say, oh, this,
right. Really
this
nitpicky
paint
minutia.
this paint is a little uneven. We'd like this wall repainted,
Right.
or
Yeah.
$5,000 back at closing to cover the painting. Which
Either or.
but
No big deal.
Or both.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
So that's one of the things that can happen as well. And I would never tell a buyer to not do a home inspection unless they're pretty much knocking the house down, especially first-time buyers, because you learn so much from home inspection.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
How the house works, how heating systems work, how electrical works.
Especially if you have a good inspector who's willing and patient to take the time to explain that.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
There are definitely some out there that I think kind of love that part, educating.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
The,
and like working
the people. So
there's certain people, if I know I have a buyer that really will truly want to know all about the building codes or the different things going on, there's certain people that I'd said, oh, you'd love so-and-so.
Right.
They know tons about this, or, or specialize in antique homes if someone's buying an antique home. Knowing who to partner with for those makes a big difference as well.
absolutely. What about, and without, I guess, dropping any names or anything like that, do you have any thoughts on financing and how to best position yourself as a buyer?
Oh, most definitely. So first step in any home search process should definitely be the pre-approval. You want to make sure you're searching within your budget, because looking at a home that's $400,000 versus if you only qualify for $200,000, it's going to make a big difference. Also, it could help identify whether you're looking for a condo or a single family home, depending on what sort of loan you're going for. If it's FHA. There's certain different regulations that happen with that. So first step, getting that pre-approval, asking questions of the lender in terms of what their rates look like, what their closing costs might look like, and also a little bit about the pre-approval process, whether you can upload documents, which makes it nice and easy for people, whether you have to bring things in, which is a little more old school. But one thing that I've been telling my buyers lately is to not just go for that first step of calling somebody and getting the pre-approval done, but actually uploading your documents, having things started from the very beginning, having all that in. Really, at that point, you're only waiting for that accepted offer and the appraisal, making sure everything's there. Because a lot of sellers, they want to close as soon as possible.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of things happen at once. So the more you can kind of preload,
exactly,
the easier it'll be.
Exactly. And if my client has gone through that entire process, when I'm submitting their offer in a multiple offer situation, I'm most certainly going to tell them it's been run through underwriting.
Yeah.
Everything's verified. These people are good to go.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to, pop up last minute. It's terrible if, people haven't done their homework, if a lender hasn't done what they need to do on their side. Certainly not Sarah, but, I've heard of in the past things happening where financing falls through and it's the last week and they were supposed to close, the very following week and can't. That's hard on sellers. It's hard on buyers. It really
Everybody
is. Yeah. So disappointing when that happens in the process. So if a seller looking at offers, one has a pre-approval, another one has a pre-approval, but the third one has been run through underwriting, just really waiting for the appraisal, everything has the thumbs up from there. That is the offer that, if they're all the same otherwise, would be the one that I would choose if I were the seller.
Gotcha. Very good. So as we're already well into 2020 and, the quote spring market that's kind of just been rolling since last year. What are some of the things that you're seeing?
It definitely has not had a lull. Sometimes the winter times can be a little slower than the springtime. And people call it the spring market for a reason because things get crazy.
Yeah.
But it has already been the spring market. Perhaps it's the lack of snow, the mild winter we've had. But it has been really busy. There really has been no lulls that we usually see. So a lot of sellers that usually wait for the spring market are actually listing now and have had much success with it, multiple offers and everything going wonderfully.
So what do you say when you're talking to someone and they know that it's a seller's market and they're like, you know what, I think that it's going to keep going up and I'm going to wait and list, in the summertime and really get, much higher price. What do you say to that person?
I mean, really, there's no magic 8-ball to say what's going to happen. If rates are going to continue to drop, right now they're historically low. It's wonderful. Really, buyers are out there looking. If you wait another 6 months, it's hard to say what's going to happen. None of us have a magic 8-ball. We can only look at trends and see what's happening. So really, it's about what timing works for them.
Yeah.
If they know that they're ready to go, there's no point in waiting because there's plenty of buyers out there.
Right.
What would you say to somebody who's looking to sell their house, but at the same time buy?
I have plenty of clients that go through that. And it can be a little complicated. But again, if you have a well-seasoned agent that knows what they're doing, we can help work it out so that the stress is at a minimum for those clients. And a lot of times I do say, make sure your house is already on the market before putting those offers in and going out to see things because it helps put your offer more forward. Again, that doesn't always happen, but it will give you the leg up if your house is already on the market. You already have an accepted offer. Just make sure your agent is writing in that suitable housing clause to make sure that you're not going to be homeless. We don't want anyone homeless. And making sure that everything's all set on those steps. So that would be the first step if you are going to do that. Doesn't always work out that way, and when it doesn't, we make it work no matter what.
Yeah, so you have roommates sometimes for
right. How many couches do you have at your house?
Only one time have I.
Wait a minute.
All right, let's talk about this.
It was a family friend, and their house had sold or was selling, and the house that they were buying actually had some title issues, but they were going to be cleared up, but the timeline was a little sketchy. They were family friends. They were next door neighbors to my in-laws, and my in-laws were actually away on a longer European trip and knew these clients well and said if they would like to stay at our house for a few nights,
oh my
please offer that to them. They took them up on it, and everyone lived happily ever after.
Oh my
There you go.
gosh.
That's funny. See, getting it done with
Yes.
the help of the in-laws.
One way or another,
It's a family business.
I will never leave a client homeless. One way or the other, I will help you, whether it's
even if you call your in-laws.
Yes.
but there are many wonderful hotels in the area.
Yes.
Exactly. You can make a recommendation.
Yeah.
Make a recommendation on that. And if you have
They'll
pets,
respond
the
at all
ones that-
hours.
Yes.
Before we get run out of time here, I just want to give out Sarah's contact information. So it's Sara Fish with Keller Williams. Her cell phone is 774-535-2992. And her website is centralmasshomesales.com. That's Mass, M-A-S-S, centralmasshomesales.com. Sarah, what are your goals to continue to grow in your business for 2020?
So my goals aren't necessarily number based. It's not X amount of homes sold or bought throughout the year. It's really just making sure that I'm staying up on my own education, making sure I'm continuing my standards to be, the best agent that I can be for my clients. So my goals are usually based personally in terms of keeping up my communications, making sure I'm working efficiently for myself and for my clients, and really just keeping up on matters.
There you go.
Yeah,
Excellent.
there it is.
Staying happy.
And there you have it. So, folks, if you're looking to buy or sell in the greater Worcester area, Sara is experienced and knowledgeable and personable, and she has great glasses on right now. So if you're into spectacle fashion, you'll really enjoy her.
Thank you very much.
Reach out to her. And thank you again, Sara, so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
joining
I
us. Thank
appreciate it.
you,
Thank you for
Sarah,
having
with an H, for your
Yes.
assistance today.
Thank you.
We'll be more back right after this with more Get Real.